Well, my name is Patti Boyle, and I am the CEO and founder of Kevoirdo's Big Love Foundation. Set up in 2012 and launched from Purley Baptist Church as a memorial to our youngest son, who died the previous year. Our fundamental aim is to provide timely and effective legal advice and support to our most disadvantaged and vulnerable. Our credentials is that I'm fully legally trained, a fellow of the Institute of Paralegals, a court-accredited CMC mediator, as well as being a mental health first aider and ambassador for Mind and Bipolar UK. Recently elected as co-chair for the local community partnership for Croydon South West. The message is, whatever the problem is we can help you through it. Thankfully, being old school trained enables me to deal with everything from domestic violence, child arrangements orders, family court proceedings, power of attorney, court of protection, to special educational needs, disability rights and appeals against DWP decisions. We provide quite a range of services, so I won't bore you with the full list, but we do have a leaflet here and you can ask me for details later. The need for help with food is usually the tip of the iceberg in people's lives. The Food Hub and Purley Food Stop, who I work through, don't just provide food. We are both conduits for those seeking help, and we both have systems in place for giving them access to services they might not even know existed. Historically, casework for Big Love was routinely included advising, representing clients experiencing everything from domestic violence to individuals and families involved in benefit claims or landlord and tenant disputes. Pretty regular, ordinary day-to-day bread and butter. But the main feature of the past 2 years, however, has been a sharp rise in the number of cases involving our elders in the Court of Protection and the family courts. Now, if I can just bring this into reality for you, in the Court of Protection in 2010 there were 934 cases. In 2015 there were 634 cases. In 2022 there were 7,065 cases in the Court of Protection. In the family courts in 1995 there were fewer than 100 cases in the family courts. In 2005, there were 300 cases in the family court. And in 2021, there were 286,036 cases. In several cases, our clients, usually aged 75 plus, have been removed from their home by local authorities, sometimes forcibly and often against their wishes. This is also happening to our families in the community through family court. We have an unprecedented number of children who are taken annually. And at last count, which was last year, we were taking 85,000 children away from their parents who the state could no longer support through normal services. And the court's choices were that they had no support to offer, and in the best interests of the children, even though it was the most drastic of choices, they removed those children. We believe that you should support families, not separate them. I personally handle all the toughest cases, and we have an established 50 to 78 to 80 cases that are live at any one time. There is more than enough work in Croydon, Purley and Kenley area, and I tend to decline work from further afield. and signpostal advocates that I've trained in those areas. Just to give you an idea, even with my credentials, I have represented in the courts in Scotland, in Wales and Northern Ireland. And even with my qualifications, and even if I were a barrister, I would not be permitted audience in these arenas. So the fact that I actually get into those arenas in the first place is a miracle of itself. There is more and more demand every year for our services. And I originally started 12 years ago, as I say, and I had no idea how we might be used, if we could be useful, and what we could do. We currently have helped in the last 3 months between 80 and 100 people, and the majority of those came through Food Stop at Old Lodge Lane. As a very minor ticket partner of Purley Food Hub, Big Love is able to offer emergency practical help, as well as legal and emotional support to vulnerable people in crisis. The community team at Food Stop is Julia Lee, Jane from Croydon Council, Murray Louisa from Disability Employment, and of course myself. But the fact of the project, the fact of the Food Stop, enables us to create the environment that invites these people in. As well as vigorously supporting our clients, Big Love takes an active part in community events. Every Christmas, Big Love supports Christmas lunch for care leavers, toys for children, warm shawls or handmade bed socks for our elders. I ran a very short Facebook campaign last Christmas until Christmas presents overflowed our settee and our 4 side tables. And I thought that that was a pretty generous donation. And I joyfully presented the Big Love gift to the Food Stop for the children. Wow, was Nick's response. A good response, you might think. Then Nick Graves said the words, "This is wonderful, but if you thought how we should manage it, who gets the gifts, Patti?" I didn't understand, and then Julia Lee looks over his shoulder and she said, as if she's answering the question that is formed in my head, which is, we have 300 children in the community at the moment, Patti. This was 3 weeks before Christmas. I looked at them both and I said, impossible. It's not going to happen. So I donned my elf suit and we gathered up presents from everywhere, and I cannot tell you how amazing it was. We had over 300 presents for the children. We had over 300 chocolate treats for their stocking fillers. We had 150 gifts for the adults, and we even had some extras to be able to give gifts to our elders who might live with the extended family in our community. I have been told that this year the number of children in need in our community is 500. I think Old Lodge Lane Food Stop is a great example, a perfect example, of how the Food Hub feeds the tributaries that feeds our wider communities. Food Hub, by assisting Food Stop, enables the community team to create an environment where people feel safe. Over time, they begin to trust us with the bigger issues that are lurking beneath the apparent immediate need. Most recently, I persuaded the DWP to hold a 50+ job fair to include the third sector who needed volunteers. There were a few burning hoops to walk through, And as this will be the first job fair of its kind across the Greater London region, it was treated with a little bit of fear and trepidation. But it happens tomorrow morning. Advocacy is not simply about having the capacity to speak on behalf of others, it helps. True advocacy is also about enabling people to build their own capacity to speak up for themselves, building self-esteem and confidence, enabling people to turn their stumbling blocks into stepping stones. Faith is the evidence of hope. The conduits that Food Hub and Food Stop for feeding God's people gives people hope, however small that mustard seed is. 3 words I am certain that you hear a lot, but I mean them just the same. Thank you to each and every one of you who plays a major role in enabling the work of the Big Love and the rest of the community team within our community. Thank you.
Thank you.